Good day to our dear viewers. Welcome back to LATOKEN Venture Capital. We're going to have a great program today with not only the innovation, technology, and solutions you want to hear about, but also the giveaways, the rewards. And joining me today, Randall Crowder, the COO of Funware. Randall, welcome back.
Thanks, Xavier. Good to have you. Good to see you again. Actually,
Yeah,
this is our second one that we've done, so excited to be
yeah.
back on.
Actually, it might be the third even.
We'll just keep it going. Let's just keep it rocking. I think there's so much good information to tell people about. We'll just keep going until people run out of questions.
Yeah, definitely. And also at some point, I think it would be great to see some kind of demo.
Yeah,
You could bring
absolutely.
that out because
Actually, we can do that on the next one. I got one that we can show easily.
oh, that'll be great. That'll be awesome. And to our viewers, this will be a little bit of a different setup for our show, as we asked in one of our Telegram channels to post whatever questions you would have for PHTK, and we selected the 8 most interesting questions, and they will be rewarded with 10,000 PHTK tokens
Well, and they were all
each.
interesting. You had a great community response, great questions, but we could only get to so many. So these are the ones that people kind of thought were that everyone would appreciate.
Great. Yeah, yeah. Actually, it was hard. It was hard to select these 8 questions. So we will be addressing these questions today. There are 8, and we will be contacting the winners personally by email, somebody from the LATOKEN team, and you will be rewarded once again 10,000 fun tokens each. Okay. So, Randall, how about if we, before we jump into questions, you could just give us a little bit of a summary about the project.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you that new to the story, funware is not new to this at all. And so you'll see a couple of different terminologies here. You hear about we'll talk a lot about fun token today, the digital asset that's going to be listing on LATOKEN, but funware is actually the company responsible for it. And funware is a U.S. publicly traded company. We actually formed the company back in 2009, so we've been doing this for a very long time. We're leaders in mobile software. So when you think of all those really great apps that you have on your phone, and if you ever are engaging with a very large brand that has an enterprise app, that's something that Funware would do. So, we're not talking about, an app that turns your phone into a mirror, or, something that, is just real kind of lightweight, based on consumer content. We're talking about large, scalable, complex mobile ecosystems. We did the first NFL app, so the National Football League. We did the first NASCAR app. We did all of Fox, the media group, their mobile application portfolio. And so what we're trying to do now is take all of that knowledge about how you engage consumers on a mobile device and bring in a very unique digital asset that will help those brands establish one-to-one interactions with consumers. And so Fun Token is this idea of rewarding you for being you. It's all the things that brands already are looking for. Every time you click something, share something, like something, do something, all of that considered by a brand profitable behavior. And so what we think is you should be rewarded for it. You should be compensated for it. You should be rewarded for telling brands what's of interest to you and what kind of opportunities they should be presenting you with. Because a funny thing in the world, everyone hates to be sold, but everyone loves to buy. And so we're trying to give consumers the ability to buy on their own terms, to engage on their own terms, and really use this unique platform that's managed by Fun Wallet. So you can download Fun Wallet on iOS and Android today. And that's even unique in and of itself. Not only are we the first publicly traded company to issue a digital asset like this, we also used our own money to build it. So we didn't go out and raise a bunch of money from investors or consumers. We said, look, we're going to have a lot of skin in the game. We're going to do this in a compliant way. So we used our own money to build the MVP. We talked about this last time. Most people would usually raise a bunch of money and then disappear for 2 years, and then they would come out with a mobile application, and everyone would cheer and say, "Wow, look at this team! They're kicking butt." Well, we did that already. So you can go to iOS and Android, download Fun Wallet. You can start earning Fun Token today. But we've just started actually selling it. And so we're just selling software. It's engagement software to help brands and consumers personalize those interactions. And so now we're just beginning to roll it out. So for the listeners here today, you're in on the ground level. We are just now beginning to market. And we're just now beginning to show some kind of proofs of concept. And then next time we'll do a demo. But let's dive into the questions.
Okay, great. Let's do that. The first one says, what are the most important and immediate goals for Fun Token in 2022? That's the first part of the question. The second part is, if you had a list of the top 3 key performance metrics, what would they be?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it'll change next year. So for the most part, as I mentioned, this year we just launched, and so you can go to buy.funtoken.com and you can see a purchasing portal that we've set up. You'll obviously be able to go to LATOKEN and purchase Fun Token as well, and you'll be able to earn it through Fun Wallet. And so what we're really trying to do with all of this, and we can talk about other aspects of the ecosystem later, we're trying to build a decentralized data economy that is designed around personal interactions. And so obviously there's a network effect to that, right? So the more people on it, the better we're going to be doing, and the more people can get access to brands, and the more people brands can get access to. And so we really want to grow Fun Wallet downloads. That's kind of our persistent mobile application. That'll be our center of gravity for this decentralized data economy. And so Fun Wallet, I'd like to see us at about 1 million users, by the end of the year. And that gives you a really strong data set. But remember, we're not new to data. So Funware, the company, we've been aggregating and curating data for over a decade. So one of the early goals of the company was, and talking about key performance metrics, one of the early KPIs for us was, could we create a Funware ID for every human being on the planet with a mobile device touching a network? Everybody thinks, oh, wow, that's a big audacious goal. Maybe one day you'll get there. Well, in a decade, we've generated over 15 billion Funware IDs with a B. 15 billion individual mobile devices attached to a person with all sorts of purchase intent, characteristics, demographics. And so now let's start converting those, right? We have all these device IDs, but the goal for data going forward is going to be first-party data where you get to manage consent. And so Fun Wallet will allow us to turn the data over to you, let it be only shared based on what you want to share, who you want to share, when you want to share it. And then anytime you engage with a brand, you can earn Fun Token, and you'll be able to control what you share for how long you share through Fun Wallet. So Fun Wallet, downloads, users, we want to grow that first to about 1 million. And then we want to start seeing, some early adoption of our SDK. So that's an important kind of acronym that people might not be familiar with, but it's a software development kit. It means that our technology can actually live inside of third-party mobile applications. And so if you think about that and what that means for kind of mainstream adoption, that's how you drive mainstream adoption. That's how you cross the chasm. And so we could be inside of, whether it was Fox, their mobile application, or a cruise line, or a hotel, or a large sporting brand. If our Fun Token SDK is inside of that app, we can also map and track behavior inside of that application and reward you for Fun Token. But the cool thing about that is you can white label it and call it whatever you want. So the UX UI might stay, on brand. Let's say it was that cruise example. It could be Cruise Coin, but then you actually get sent to Fun Wallet in order to take custody. And that's when you can basically convert it into Fun Token. And so it's a really unique way to drive brand adoption, but also drive consumer adoption through the brands they already know and love. So we'd like to have at least, 1 or 2 proofs of concept kind of pilot programs running that in the wild, which again is unique because I always say, there's so many crypto projects out there and you can't do anything with them. They're not doing anything. And so the last one is really going to be, all the goals are more tied to less quantitative and more qualitative. It's the product roadmap. So we have a really important release for Fun Wallet coming out right now. It's going to be all designed around user authentication. How do you have a profile and be able to have all that data saved, be able to be rewarded in a cryptocurrency. However, if you lose your account, you don't lose all that data. Now, we all know in crypto, if you lose your seed phrase, that's tied to your wallet. That's very important. If you have seed phrases, write those down. Don't put them on your computer. Don't put them in a shared drive, but write them down, keep them safe, and never lose those. But your data is something entirely different. So as we're collecting all of this data on you, we need to track that back to a user. For us, it's all about transparency and auditability. And so this new release will allow us to better manage data, better segment audiences, and then that will allow us to better serve those users with the brands that are looking to engage them. And then the next, big kind of, product update will be a lot of contextual features. So being able to, if you remember Pokemon Go, that whole craze where you had, augmented reality and you could go find Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
We're doing a version of that with fun tokens. So, we're actually going to pilot this at Consensus. So next month, actually in a couple of weeks here in Austin, one of the largest, blockchain conferences in the world, in each year. So Consensus will be June 9th through the 12th, and basically it's a scavenger hunt for a digital asset, for cryptocurrency. And so you'll be able to download Fun Wallet and then basically complete certain tasks and go to certain locations like a treasure hunt while you're at Consensus. And we're giving away over $100,000 just during the conference alone, as well as a really great mining rig for just getting people engaged and getting people to pay attention and share the story. So, that's that in summary. Fun Wallet users, let's grow that user base. Let's start showing a couple proofs of concept of our software, working inside of a third-party mobile application, so you can earn Fun Token in multiple ways. And then a lot of the product roadmap stuff that we have coming out, user authentication, what's called location-based marketing cards, which is basically going to be this concept of a treasure hunt, and then a couple other features that are going to be really cool, but we'll announce those probably next quarter.
Great. Randall, would you say that your number one key performance metric would be to reach, or when you're going to reach the 1 million users? Would that be the most important?
Yeah, it's not the most important, but it's the most qualitative, right? It's the most that you can actually definitively measure. I always say the products are going to be most important. The products and the company behind it. So we've got to be able to put features out there that are interesting to people, that get them coming back, wanting more, and that'll grow the user base. So people, there's a lot of looky-loos in crypto. People that are just curious. There's crypto curious. There's crypto enthusiasts, and they'll just download stuff and look at stuff just for fun, just because it's interesting to them. But that's not ever going to cross into the mainstream. For mainstream to want to have another app on their phone and want to be engaging in it all the time to get to those millions of users, you got to have something that's interesting for them to engage with, and it's got to reward them. So literally, you have it up here right now, rewarding you for being you. Let's make sure we're doing something that is valuable to you.
Okay, great. Thank you for that answer. Let's move on to number two. Question number two. Where do you see Fun Token initially being deployed? For example, could you use it with what you guys are doing with Brad Parscale, Campaign Nucleus?
Yeah, so for those people that don't maybe know those names or recognize that, so Funware actually designed and deployed the mobile application for President Trump in the 2020 campaign, and a lot of that we didn't even get to use because of COVID. Now, I mean, we're call it political party agnostic, just like Facebook. Facebook supports both sides of the aisle. We've supported both sides of the aisle in the past. And quite frankly, we were selling our stuff to Democrats and the Republicans. We are just a great content management engine to help drive engagement. But the Republican Party really saw the potential for contextual engagement in a political race. And Brad Parscale
was that
the campaign manager.
Was that Campaign Nucleus?
Yeah. So Campaign Nucleus was kind of think of that like all of the really rich personalized data. Funware didn't do the data for the presidential election. We just did the mobile ecosystem that took advantage of Campaign Nucleus's data. And so Brad Parscale has a career, a really rich history in this. But that ability, he really showed it off in 2016 in that election, how you leverage social media to drive engagement and really kind of get the right messaging across at the right time. And then we provided, the mobile software in 2020 to really bring that to life. The unfortunate thing was a lot of the stuff that we designed was actually for a normal year. not pandemic year. And so we had a lot of really cool things tied to live events, grassroots campaigning, sharing, different content with community, being on the ground, boots on the ground, certain facilities, QR codes, check-ins, all kinds of cool stuff. We didn't get to use it because obviously during the pandemic, all those live events were canceled. But I think maybe where this question is going, the answer is yes. Could we use it with X? The answer is yes, because every business is trying to influence behavior. And so if you have a business, and I always ask the question, if you were king or queen for a day, what would you have your customers do more of? And that therein lies where FunToken can be valuable. So if you're an airline, I really want people to show up, at least 2 hours before their flight. Great, we'll reward you in FunToken. If I'm a doctor, I want my patients to show up on time for their appointment. I'll reward you in FunToken. You, back to the airline example, you want to check a bag instead of dealing with overhead storage, I'll reward you for that. So with this, in like a political sphere, we might reward people for knocking on doors, so canvassing voters. We might reward people for handing out flyers. We might reward people for coming to a live rally and really getting involved. We might reward people for referring certain social channels or certain content to their networks and their audiences. And so the answer is absolutely yes. We have a lot of interesting things that we can do in politics. We're actually, looking at, we signed another deal with Brad Parscale, and a kind of a partnership to look at a couple new offerings and some new things that we're working on together that are going to be really exciting. And so, I think that is something longer term that'll be even more leveraged by digital assets like what we're doing. But in another AMA, we'll talk about FunCoin. FunCoin is the other side of the coin, pun intended. And that's the idea of being able to own your data and selling your data. FunToken is this idea of valuing engagement. So all of this engagement is creating the data. Then how you leverage that data, that's actually a separate digital asset that we're launching called FunCoin. And that's actually a regulated security. That I think has a little bit more of a potential impact on politics and also even authenticating people around elections. We can also do that with our existing mobile ecosystem, knowing who's voting, when they're voting. There's a lot of really interesting engagement features around that as well. But back to the first part of this question, I would say hospitality, I think, will actually be where it'll be initially deployed. So take, for example, any viewers that have been to the Caribbean, actually the Bahamas. There's a really amazing luxury resort called the Atlantis. So it is so big, it's its own island. It's called Paradise Island in the Bahamas. It's got 5 distinct luxury properties, water park, casino, all sorts of really amazing things that you can enjoy and explore. It's massive. So we just launched a mobile ecosystem there. So it's our smart hospitality solution. And I mean, it's incredible. It's a one-of-a-kind mobile application for a luxury hospitality resort. That, I think, is where you're going to start seeing digital assets like FunToken appear first, because there's so many cool things you can do with it, from getting people to engage in the world around them while they're on a trip. And so we could do something like some of that scavenger hunt concept that I was talking about before, augmented reality for the kids, and they can find FunToken, or remember, they can rebrand it whatever they want. They can call it Atlantean coin. So it's really FunToken as a service. You can white label it and use it in your own ecosystem, but call it something else. So maybe it's Atlantean coin, and you have kids going around finding really cool experiences, teaching them about some of the fish and some of the things that they have in the aquarium, but you're earning cryptocurrency along the way for doing all this.
And that is working right now, right?
So that's not live yet. That's just an example of what we would, where I think it would be initially deployed. And so it hasn't been deployed inside of somebody else's application yet, but the mobile application is. So 100% Funware has live mobile ecosystems all over the world, fully functioning. We haven't integrated FunToken in it yet. And so that's where we'll start to see, okay, where are some areas where we can initially deploy it? And I think hospitality will be one of the first.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. That's interesting. We'd love to see that. Third question. Security and anonymity are always prioritized by blockchain projects in the development of project platforms and technologies. Do you have any technological solutions or plans to enhance user trust?
Yeah, are they? It's funny. I say this a little bit pithily. You look at like Terra and Luna, and I mean you can count all the way back to
Yeah.
a million other projects that just because it's a smart contract doesn't mean it's a secure contract, and something doesn't have to be fraudulent to be manipulated and to make people have a really bad day. And so, what I think a lot of the crypto universe doesn't realize, because they don't actually work with any real companies will never take that risk, ever. Full stop, period. You're not going to have Nike running a $20 million on-chain marketing budget that could be manipulated by either really smart, people in the market, or actually, attacked by bots, or somehow drained by some technology, backdoor. There's a million different things that we keep seeing if you've been around crypto for longer than a couple months, where it's either an outright scam, or it's maybe a little bit of fraud, or it's a whole lot of manipulation, or it's a whole lot of just nothing, and it's never going to go anywhere, and all it is a bunch of promises that people made in a white paper that's never going to actually see the light of day. And so when it comes to security, and I'm going to take these in two different, because I think they're two different things entirely. First is security. That's first and foremost. Anonymity, I think that's stupid, and I don't mean stupid in a mean way, but I just think that's missing the point. Security is by far and away one of the most important things anybody who wants to cross the chasm into mainstream adoption has to address. And so the way we do it is our own layer 2 scaling methodology. So we have a buffer between everything that's happening with these brands and their engagement and basically on chain. And so that allows us to handle the transactional volume that we naturally see anyways. So again, as a data company, remember, we have over a petabyte of data that at scale grows at a terabyte a day. No blockchain could handle our transactional volume. So you have to be able to address it in a different way. The good thing about that is it allows you to have a security layer. And so we know a little thing about security. We work with Fortune 500 brands. So SOX compliance, hands down, you got to be able to address that. We work, one of our largest industries is healthcare. So HIPAA, data privacy, how you secure data in healthcare is, probably top of any industry outside of maybe government, but we've done government. Like I said, we did the presidential election. We were getting millions of intrusion attempts, every day during that election. We were never hacked. And so the ability to understand complex mobile ecosystems and secure them is in our DNA. And so it's built into everything that we do. So the answer is yes. We can, and user trust should be enhanced just by the fact that we're a publicly traded company. Who else are you investing in that you have so much trust in? Because none of them are public. They don't have to be accountable to you.
Yeah, and
they can take your money and leave.
And a lot of them are not regulated. It's like a wild west.
Exactly. It's musical chairs. Everyone is just hoping that the music doesn't run out and they don't have a seat. And it might not even be anything nefarious. Remember, here's the problem, and this is why we did it differently. So many people are making so much money when they first talk about their project. They don't actually have to do anything for the rest of their life. It's like they flipped the entire model in crypto. They've basically retired on day one. They mint an NFT and then they're just like, all right, well, I'm done. Like, legally speaking, you gave me your money. Here's your NFT. I don't have to market it. I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to let you have any sort of use case. Bye. And then they're gone. And that's why a lot of these things are failing, and why a lot of people are getting really, I think, kind of tired of it. And so I think you're going to see a flock to credibility, accountability, and initiative. You've got to have real teams solving real problems in the real world. And you've got to be transparent about it. So anonymity to me is not the big idea for blockchain. Blockchain, for me, the big idea is radical transparency and auditability. Now, that's not saying I need to know your social security number and your blood type. I just need to be able to verify who you are, what you're doing, and where you're doing it. Say in an election, I should just be able to know that you're a KYC'd user. I don't need to know that your name's Xavier. But if you show up and you're trying to buy, something from me and I need to KYC you, cool thing about blockchain is in an anonymous way, I can verify you without knowing anything about you because there's some smart contract that tells me this is who you are and it's married to a device ID and all these things that we can kind of, check for credibility. But I don't want to, the anonymity thing is less interesting to me. The privacy coins, they'll have their place. A lot of people that really want, that kind of anonymity and privacy is for a reason. There's a reason why a criminal element uses a lot of the privacy tokens and privacy coins. I think regulators are going to have a really hard time allowing those to flourish. I love what we're doing, where I want to tell you exactly what I'm collecting. I want to ask your permission for it. I want you to control the answer. And if you want me to stop collecting something or you want me to delete everything on it that you've told me, I'm happy to do so. And when you create that kind of level of trust with users where you put them in control, I think you have a really unique opportunity to take advantage of a technology that is probably the most significant innovation in our global economy since the Medicis came up with double entry accounting. That's how profound, this concept of blockchain and decentralization is. And so we are building naturally into our system the security that will give large brands confidence to be able to leverage our service. It's basically crypto as a service driven around engagement. So we're going to give them a safe on-ramp to the world of cryptocurrency by establishing our own layer 2 protocol that will help kind of prevent any sort of fraudulent attacks or any kind of, market manipulation tied to their own, branded ecosystems.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Question number 4. What strategy will you implement to bring non-crypto natives into the ecosystem? That's the first part of the question. The second part is, how do you keep a balance between developing technology and also improving the value of your token?
Great question. And we kind of already touched on it, right? So we can probably go through this one fast. This ability, and we'll show it in a demo next time, but the ability for our stuff to live inside of somebody else's mobile application is what will help non-crypto natives get into our ecosystem. So, I talked about this, I think, previously, but, we were talking, Kathy Mayer is on our board. She's the former CMO, CDO of Carnival. She was trying to think through ways to sell more excursions every time a cruise, left for a voyage. And so one of the things we asked was like, well, when do you sell those the most? And she said, well, the day the ship is leaving port is when we have the most success selling these excursions. And I'm like, that makes total sense. It's like selling, alcohol, in the airport in Vegas. Everyone's excited to get there and they're buying alcohol and they're partying. And so with our existing mobile software, we could absolutely introduce infomercial-like capability at the point of sale. So if I know you're waiting to board the ship, I can send you a push notification on your phone, have you actually watch all the amazing excursions that you would be able to enjoy while you're on your trip. And then we wanted to take it one step further. So if I know my conversion metrics and I know that I can, some people are going to be distracted and I might not be able to get them in that moment, let's just pay them. Let's pay them to watch the video. So it's called rewarded video. So instead of just saying, do you want to watch this video on all the amazing excursions you're going to have on your trip? We'll say for 1,000, cruise coin, will you watch this video on all the amazing excursions you're going to have on your trip? So now, okay, you got my attention. So before I didn't want to deal with this because I was, trying to, drag my luggage up, the ramp or something or get them out of the car. But now I've got this thing like, wait, you're going to pay me something? Now I might not have ever owned a wallet. I might not ever have done anything. But if I watch that video, I just
it's gonna make you want to watch it.
Exactly. And so now all of a sudden you don't really know what you're doing. You just know that like, hey, this video is kind of cool. I'm getting something out of it and I'm getting something for it. So let me say that again. I'm getting something out of it and I'm getting something for it. How cool is that? So I just watched a video and I actually do want to take one of these amazing excursions. And you paid me for watching the video? We all win. You wanted to sell me more excursions. I found out about a really cool opportunity and I got paid and I paid you. That's the kind of holistic, virtuous ecosystem that we're creating. And that non-crypto native just got into crypto and didn't even know it. And so then at the end of the trip, it's going to be like, well, hey, what's the deal with this, cruise coin? Like, what do I do with it now? You click one button inside of the cruise line app. It'll take you to Fun Wallet where your balance is waiting for you. And then you can convert that to Fun Token. And because again, remember, this is just UX UI. Cruise Coin doesn't actually live on chain. That's layer 2. Cruise Coin's never going to trade on Coinbase. It's all Fun Token. So it's basically Fun Token masquerading as branded crypto inside of branded ecosystems that are third parties to Funware. That's how we start driving mainstream adoption and how we start driving non-crypto natives into our ecosystem, by going where they are. You can't keep trying to tell them to come to us. Go to MetaMask and do your seed phrase and connect this wallet and do this and then stand on one foot and turn around and try not to fall over. Like, crypto's so complicated and it's scary. You have to make it really engaging and exciting for people. And really, we talked about this before, but I want to do it again. Click on that rewards button up there.
Yeah. Okay. Rewards.
And so, like, when you look at here, this is what people are familiar with. So now this flow right here, we created as an interface for people to start dealing with decentralized finance or decentralized exchanges. So this is for, Uniswap, where Fun Token started trading. And we said, you know what? Let's provide a really easy resource to tell people what it is and then how to get involved. And so this has a lot of great information. Once you connect your wallet, it'll track, how much you have, what rank you are. Click on that Provide Liquidity tab. Providing liquidity is something very interesting that non-crypto natives don't understand, but it's what banks do today. Banks provide kind of help markets kind of flourish. You see what people are trading, whether it's in the stock market or not. There's market makers. And the idea of decentralization is, could we do this through the people? Could the people provide the liquidity? Could the people do the market making? And so, but it's very complicated, and people are kind of nervous about it, and they don't know really how to walk through the process in order to provide liquidity and participate in decentralized finance. So we made it very simple. It's a step-by-step guide. You got to buy some Ethereum over here. You got to buy a Fun Token. You got to connect here, and we go video step-by-step guides, and we can get you providing liquidity in probably under 2 minutes. You got to make it simple for people. You got to make it engaging for people. Go back to that homepage. You can probably just go back one more. There you go. And then go to the fact page. Anything you could ever possibly want to know, it's probably down here. So just, a lot of information. Every time people, come up with an idea or a question, we're doing an AMA right now. We try to, basically put it here and have this be a really great resource for people to learn. But we also understand that, we want to build community. And this is going to go into the next part of this question. Building community and building awareness is what drives value of anything. And so, for us, we're focused on developing the technology 100%. We haven't been marketing this yet. This will be the first centralized exchange we list on, not the last, but we've just now begun to start telling people about what we've been building over the last few years. Go to Feed the Fun, that link at the top with the hashtag. A lot of it is, we're really seeing the community grow through social. And so, we have this really kind of fun Feed the Fun, the hashtag, there you go. We have this kind of really fun interface where, we pull together, a lot of, just content around the internet, Twitter, anywhere else, a lot of videos. So I think you were going to show one today, but if anybody wants to check out a lot of the videos that we have out that kind of talk about either use cases or feature sets or different, ideas around the market, you'll be able to find all that here, and you can download it, you can share it. And you can learn a whole lot more about the project and about Funware as well. So I would encourage people to go to that Feed the Fun tab. That's also how we'll drive awareness in community, which will ultimately drive value for the token. It's really just blocking and tackling and old school marketing. So providing things that you can actually do, so use cases, and then telling the world about it. And so that's where I think a lot of other crypto projects fall short. They don't have the wherewithal or the infrastructure to do it, and they don't have the sense of urgency. So they're not building anything, and they don't have a consistent marketing effort in order to grow that awareness over time. And that's what we're doing. Our company was designed to do that. And so now we're just doing it for ourselves.
Okay, fantastic, good. So, for the people, please, to our viewers, go to funtoken.com. There you'll be able to see the FAQs that we were talking about, the rewards, and the feed the fun that you're watching right now. To continue with question number 5. How easy is Fun Wallet to use and understand? Okay, that's what a little bit we're talking about. You have FAQs, you have all these information pages. And how does Fun Token pay attention to UI, UX? And also, will there be support educational materials to assist users, especially for beginner in crypto? Well, this is a little bit we were just talking about.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get to the other ones. Kind of, I know we don't have too much time, but yeah, so it's very easy to understand. I have people reaching out to me all the time. They're like, Fun Wallet is the first wallet I've ever owned. This is so simple, it's so easy. So we have an incredible team responsible not just for Fun Wallet, Fun Token, and Funware. It really is a privilege to work with them. Our VP of product and design, Susie Elizondo, is just a savant when it comes to this stuff, and her team is amazing. And so when you think about design-led thinking, and you think about how do you engage people, that's literally what our company was designed to do. And she's been with us pretty much from the beginning. Funware is a play on words. It's mobile applications that exhibit game-like mechanics and behavior. So even when we were designing for Fox or the NFL or for NASCAR, we were designing ecosystems designed around gamification. How do I engage you? And so, we do that in everything that we do. And so this is easy. It's what we do, and we're making, even if you go to this website, it's clear that we're trying to design things in a way that is more comfortable and familiar for people. How do you take the best tenets of Shopify or e-com or, the actual social channels that are really engaging, and how do you apply that and infuse that into these Web3 interfaces and applications? And so, we're going to keep doing that. That's just a natural, agile development, 2-week sprints. Everything is being designed and redesigned and changed. Even if you had seen this website, 3 weeks ago, it looked different. And so, we're constantly updating it, changing it, reviewing it. We do this weekly. And so again, that's, so many projects, they're kind of one and done. They get it, and it's like, that's it. And then nothing changes for 2 years. We're updating things and changing things and adding things and refining things every day, because we do this full time.
And the next question is very much connected to it. And I like the next question. I'll explain later why. Do you allow suggestions and feedback from the community? Are we allowed in decision making? Do you put community into consideration? Because usually you think that being such a big company, listed and everything, decisions rather centralized, right? Because you have to be time effective as well. Now, where's the balance? How do you put a balance? Do you listen to the community as well? Or is more like you just get some feedback and then everything is centralized, all the decisions and plans?
No, it's both. And so, we're not running a DAO or anything. And so there's not like a voting mechanism for that. Although we're starting to get there, like with this scavenger hunt around consensus, we're asking for some feedback actually from the conference participants on best use cases. And that's actually how you win. We're actually going to be voting on who has the best use case for Fun Token, and that's what's going to drive a lot of the winners. And so we are absolutely encouraging people to give us suggestions and feedback. Now, that's for conference participants, but for those of you that aren't at the consensus conference in Austin in June, go to Telegram. So Fun Token chat. I'm there every day. Alan, CEO, is there every day. A lot of our team is there every day. So we've been doing this for over a year. So anybody that's been with the project for a while now knows how active we are in Telegram and also Discord. So I think the more robust, thoughtful questions and feedback should absolutely be in Discord. And again, you can see all the links up there at the top here. If you just go to funtoken.com, you can go to Telegram or Discord or Twitter just easily with those icons at the top. But Telegram, a lot of times I think it's just suggestions and feedback that are well researched and thoughtful are welcome. But do your research. If you want to be involved in these communities and you really, want to drive the industry forward, you just can't, go into these feedback channels and say win moon and, just be kind of silly about it. We love suggestions, and we've gotten some really good ideas from our community, and then we work that into our product roadmap. So absolutely.
Great, great. Well said, because we also from LATOKEN, I think we have like 300,000 users in our Telegram, and some people really take the time to study a project,
Yeah.
and that's the feedback you want. Because the
Yeah.
other ones that are, when are you going to do an airdrop or a training competition, that's not feedback.
we
Feedback
get that
means,
all the time.
but again, that's not feedback. Okay, that's a comment
Well,
or a
and I'll say,
request.
I don't think it's in these questions because I think these questions are from your community. But there's two ways to kind of think about Fun Token today, and I'll just address it now because I'm sure people have that question. So, what people kind of been referring to is mining inside of the application. That's all these opportunities to engage. Now, right now, I mean, like even this goal market cap, that's just the interim goal for this initial launch. And then, obviously that's going to keep increasing as we go. And we're kind of tying that to user base and what we think, we want to hit first. But, I think when it comes to that mining concept, that's layer 2 effectively. So it's it's an accrued balance. And so you're basically engaging in surveys, you're engaging with brands, just like you would be doing in that third-party application that I explained before. And you eventually will have an opportunity to kind of go on chain. And so the reason why we're doing this is brands think of people's data in like a rolling 90-day window. There's a validation aspect of it that's tied to currency. So is it not tied to it being current, not currency? And so as you think about your data in that rolling 90-day windows, you'll then be able to kind of memorialize that. Like, we don't want this to be a beer money app where you're just constantly just clipping tokens and just selling them into the market, because that would actually put downward price pressure on the token, which would not create a healthy ecosystem. So you got to think about token velocity. And so we're not allowing that feature until there is additional product roadmap developments that allow you to do something with that balance. It could be gambling, it could be betting it on sports books, it could be buying merchandise, it could be interoperability with other loyalty and rewards platforms. There's a lot of other engagement features that we haven't announced yet that we're going to soon be talking about, but some of them are similar to that scavenger hunt thing that I was talking about. How do you engage people in the real world using Fun Token and spend Fun Token to engage in these opportunities? Once we have all of that, then we'll start allowing people to take some of that reward from surveys and actually go on chain with that and be able to trade it or do whatever they want with it. But that actually protects the value of the ecosystem not having that available today, because you don't have just a bunch of people with no cost basis flooding the market with a bunch of free tokens. And so when people are always like, when can I withdraw all my tokens? Why do you want to withdraw them? Because you just want to cash them out, and you'll take anything for them. You don't care, even if it's worth $1. Tomorrow you'll take a penny today. It's very hard for people to resist that kind of constant coupon clipping mentality. And so it's important for us to think about how we roll out these features over time and how we protect the overall value of the market, because that's going to protect the value of the ecosystem and create a nice trajectory for what we're doing. And so right now you can buy Fun Token. So you can buy it at buy.funtoken.com. You'll be able to buy it, trade it on LATOKEN here shortly. And that's really it. You can go to Uniswap. Those are only three places you can get it right now. And so that will create a more stable, valuable ecosystem, because everybody, for the most part, everyone that has Fun Token today actually paid for it. And we didn't go out and sell a bunch of, really cheap Fun Token to a bunch of venture capitalists who are just waiting for a listing and they're going to all dump their Fun Token. Everybody right now, we've only sold to people. We turned it on in a soft launch. And so everybody that has bought today has just kind of found us, thought it was interesting, bought some, and they can do whatever they want. But we don't have some big balloon of Fun Token just waiting to be unloaded in the market. I think that'll also protect the market.
Okay, thank you, Randall, for that. the feedback. This is also an interesting question I like a lot. What are the difficulties in implementing fund token in small businesses, and how can shareholders help?
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with the second part just because we have it up on the screen right now. So this feed the fund. Um, Shareholders can help by spreading the word. So often
Mhm.
we just consume content, and really what we want to do is drive content. So every time we post something on Twitter, share it to your channels. Every time you see something interesting on Telegram, forward it to other Telegram channels that you're in, other Discord channels that you're in. That's the beauty of decentralization, right? Like, we have this idea of what decentralization could become, but we're not active participants in it, not in the way we should be. If you want something to be for the people, by the people, then the people need to step up and share it with more people. And I think
Mhm.
that's what's missing in a lot of these, is that community support and that community, becoming those community ambassadors and champions of what's going on and telling people about it and understanding that, Rome wasn't built in a day. But sharing, spreading, think about how many people wish that someone would have, been in their network and told them about Bitcoin when it was below $1. They found out when it was already
Mhm.
above 30,000, and they're like,
Yeah.
God, I wish someone would have told
I
me.
missed it.
So, I always tell people, feed the fun, share the fun, we create a lot of easy content that's a lot more professionally done and a lot more engaging than a lot of the stuff that's out there. And we're pushing out content, almost daily. So share that. Some of it's funny. Like we have, a lot of good meme content. Then we have a lot of good professional short form videos. If you go
I
to
like this
YouTube,
one.
yeah, you like that one?
I like
You let that one run. That was a
Star
good
Wars one.
yeah. And so there's a bunch of these like this that he's showing right now. And we have some really great, and some of these are from our Twitter community. So, a lot of the, there's some really amazing ambassadors of Fun Token that are really taking a lot of, kind of fun, pun intended, with a lot of, call it mainstream, media content, movies, and tying it back to what we're doing either around crypto or around Fun Token. And so, share these with the broader community. And that will absolutely help with the first part of this question. How do, the difficulty of implementing anything with small businesses is awareness. And it's just, them knowing that this is even possible. And so this is all brand new and kind of happening in real time right now, this ability to engage contextually. So our system was built around getting the right information to the right customer at the right time in the right place. And
Mhm.
so small businesses need to know that this resource is available to them. Like, hey, there's certain things that you want to do to engage your audiences better. We have a solution that can help. And so I still think that the bigger opportunity is the much larger businesses. But, for us, there's the value of, basically a major, crypto ecosystem, but then there's also value in the consumers. So we need to grow both. So SMBs, small medium businesses, are great for driving that user engagement and getting those millions of users into Fun Wallet. Even though the Fortune 500 companies, that's the big prize, and you want these very big contracts. We want to be able to serve both. So big major enterprises and small businesses. Small businesses should think of Fun Token like AdWords for a new era. When Google came up with AdWords, we were in a PC era, and the
Mhm.
way you engage consumers is through a PC and a banner ad. Those days are gone. I mean,
Yeah,
who
long
clicks
gone.
on a banner ad? I mean, I'm not stopping and writing down a phone number I read on a billboard. And so the world we live in today is mobile first, and it's quickly becoming mobile only. And so this is like, Fun Token is like AdWords for a mobile only world, where instead of being a banner ad tied to a PC, it's an opportunity for engagement tied to a mobile device. And so again, it goes back to that concept of, I don't always want to be sold, but I'm always willing to buy if it's valuable to me
Mhm.
and you reach me at a time and place when I'm willing to pay attention. And that's what
Okay.
Fun Token is designed to do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's jump on the last question. Similar to cloud, new technology adoption starts in the enterprise space and trickles down to the SMB. What role do you see, if any, MSPs or technology providers in terms of partnerships, and will will the will the BMRR opportunity similar to Microsoft's CSP?
Yeah, so I think so what this is getting at, and this is something that we know very well, and so partnerships are very important. So there's that kind of direct partnership where I was talking about before, where we're integrating our technology into a company, like hopefully we'll be able to integrate it into something like an Atlantis or any of the brands that we're already working with their mobile ecosystems. But partnerships, I think where this question is going is more this idea of indirect channel selling, and that's absolutely what our platform was designed to do. So if you go to funware.com, that with you go to our partner section, we've been doing integrations with technology partners and technology providers since pretty much we started the company, and we've worked with everybody, and so that it for us presents a very unique opportunity to try to drive scale faster. But again, as I was talking about it before, they're not going to do it. They're not even going to consider it if you haven't addressed the security and the uncertainty and the ambiguity tied to all things crypto. They're just not going to touch it. So I think what happens in industries like crypto or in macro trends like this, when it comes to like innovation, is, and this is why when I keep saying crossing the chasm, there's basically a chart that talks about going from innovators to early adopters to crossing the chasm to mainstream adoption. This kind of bell curve idea of driving adoption. The innovators are always going to be excited. If you haven't sold to a Fortune 500 business, or you haven't tried to raise money from a large family office, you won't understand how counterintuitive the idea of risk and innovation are. The best way to think about it is, and I spent a decade as a venture capitalist, when you're trying to raise money from really rich people, they care more about not losing the money they have than they do about making more money on top of it. And so once you've established wealth, say you're worth $100 million, and that 100 million can generate consistently 10% a year through a diversified portfolio, and I come to you and I say, I've got a really great investment for only $20 million. We're going to design a system for cold fusion, and it's going to change the world. And I'm all excited because I'm an innovator, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're like, listen, I hope you succeed, but I'm not going to risk 20% of my wealth on that pipe dream. And so, and there's still some that do, but a lot of them don't. And so when you go to these large technology companies, these large Fortune 500 companies, they're not excited about crypto being some really cool innovation and it's going to change the world. They're like, wait a minute, all I see is risk. And so if you can't de-risk it and you can't provide that kind of crypto as a service, they're never going to touch it. And so we have an established background and experience dealing with these technology providers, going through their own security, SOX compliance, for example, being able to check the box on all the due diligence items that they require even to partner. We integrated our software, our location software. So again, if you didn't check the AMA before, we have some of the best location software in the world. So how do you triangulate a mobile device inside a building the same way a satellite would be able to find you outdoors? We do that better than anybody, and I'll compare our stuff to anybody, and I bet we'll beat them. We integrated that location software into one of Carrier. Carrier is a $20 billion, traded on the New York Stock Exchange, the heating and cooling giant that does a lot of ACs and HVAC systems all over the world, but they do a lot more than that. We integrated our technology into one of their third-party applications. Do you know the amount of security and compliance that you have to jump, the hoops you have to jump through to integrate your technology into a Fortune 500 company? I mean, it's incredible. And so we've just had experience doing that. So this will be no different. We will be able to introduce our technology into the enterprise space in a safe and compliant manner that gives these enterprises the confidence to begin dabbling in crypto. And I think that's what, really the future of blockchain, needs. If we're going to really realize the promise of blockchain, we need, honestly, and nobody wants to hear this, we need a bunch of centralized companies deploying decentralized ecosystems. Because what you get with a company is singular vision, singular purpose, a sense of urgency, a whole lot of accountability, and the resources to see it through. And that's what this world needs right now. They need companies who are willing to see it through, because crypto decentralization is too big of an idea to leave to chance.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, decentralization oftentimes just means you got no leader, you got no marketing plan, and you have no sense of urgency. And it's too big of an opportunity for mankind to leave to chance.
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe we're not ready yet for it. Even though people love the concept, as a concept, it's amazing. We would love to have everything decentralized. But unfortunately, that at the moment, that's not really how things work in an optimal way, of course, as you just mentioned.
That's right. Well, and that'll be the I think the exciting opportunity though, right? Is understanding that Venn diagram. It's not either or. That's just, we live in a world that's 30-second sound bites. We don't want to consume more information than we can handle. And so everything becomes a tagline. And it's really not fair to the causes, the content, the people, or the innovations. And so, Bitcoin, I mean, look, at the end of the day, yeah, it's probably the best example of this, but it's being run on a bunch of centralized, mining rigs, all over the world. Like, there's still some centralization required for that decentralization to happen. Because if nobody had ended up, investing in the high performance computers to shove them into a warehouse to crank out all these computations, guess what? Bitcoin wouldn't exist. And so you need somebody who's willing to commit money, resources, time, some of their hair, and a lot of their passion, blood, sweat, and tears into these commercialization efforts. And so you can't just say, oh, well, we're going to run this by the people, because I can tell you, I mean, about 9 out of 10 crypto projects run by consensus with people all over the world, they don't get anything done. They just work when they feel like working in between trips to Bali or Puerto Rico, and they're just hanging out, on the talk circuit, talking about protocol coins and all this cool stuff, and they're going to kill Ethereum and do all these things. And I'm like, where's the proof? You've been talking about it for a long time, but you haven't done anything. And so we need that sense of urgency. We need that, singular focus. We need companies commercializing decentralized ecosystems if we're going to realize the promise of blockchain.
Okay, great. No, I completely share that point of view. It's exactly on the point. Randall, thank you very much. We've reached the end of the show for this time. I'm sure that we're going to have another one. I think you promised us to have a demo.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, did you get that other video? I know. I don't know if that ran before we started the show or not, but were you able to show that other video?
Which video is that?
It was in the Telegram channel. You don't have to worry about it. There was a video that we were going to run, but it's not.
Do you have it? Do you have it at hand?
I do. If you want to show it.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Why not? Let me put this up real quick. Yeah, well, yeah, and I'll tell you, a little commercial for LATOKEN. Y'all have been great. I think the team has been great. It kind of speaks to what I was talking about before, about this idea of centralized organizations. Think about what an exchange does. Think about what LATOKEN has to do in order to provide a environment for people to discover and find new cryptocurrencies and trade them and do all these things. That's a great example of a centralized company providing a decentralized ecosystem, and I think it's going to be imperative that more people begin thinking about it like that, because we need more of that. We need good people, and I think y'all's team has been great. Been very responsive, very helpful. It's been a pleasure walking through this process with y'all. And so, I commend you for the team and what you're doing to help, promote, crypto.
Right, thank you,
All
Randy.
right, here it is. Let me see if I
Okay.
can share my screen real
It's going to
quick.
be huge.
All right. There we go. You see that?
I see it. Yeah, we have it.
All right, let's play that and see if it.
It's going to be the future of how you engage with smart spaces. So when you show up to a venue, rather than you being like, "Hey Siri," and trying to find something, your phone's going to spring into action. It's going to turn into a mobile concierge, and it's going to help you find things you didn't even know about. It's similar to like Pokemon Go. You can basically put your phone up to a street and then see digital overlays of the real world. Come in here, buy one, get one drink, or go take this action, or do this thing that might be interesting to you based on who you are, what's around you, what's most important to you. So everything we've designed, both indoors and out, is about how to engage someone when they're most likely willing to pay attention, and how do we tech enable some experience.
Be rewarded for being you. I like that.
All right, that's right. That's what we're trying to do. And we talked a lot about that on today's call, but that I think is going to be table stakes for people going forward. Is that how do you find people when they're most willing to pay attention? And I always say there's so many opportunities to really convert consumers by taking moments of anxiety and turning them into moments of delight. Your phone knows so much about you. It knows so much about the world around you. But there's not a really good bridge where you can take all the information in the virtual world, curate it, and then serve it up to inform your real world experiences. And whoever can tackle that problem. So it's no longer, "Hey Siri," it's, "Hey Xavier." And you're like, "Oh wow, I didn't thank you." You're walking to lunch and all of a sudden you get, a couple deals, "Hey, come in here and eat lunch here and you get 20% off," or you get, buy one, get one free. I didn't know that. Now, if I'd gone to their website, maybe I could have found that out. But when I'm walking down the street, about to go to lunch, I'm not looking at a website. Like I want it to just tell me what's interesting to me, or better yet, like it showed in that video, I want to be able to hold this up to a street and then see through an AR lens all the different, digital signage that I would possibly be able to see on a website, but in a real world overlay, because that's how I consume content. That's how I think about things. And I think that's going to be a really exciting opportunity for us.
Yeah, that I really can't wait to see. I haven't seen anything like that in the market at the moment. But yeah, I'm really, really curious for that. Great. Randall, thank you very much for being with us once again.
Thanks, Xavier. Really appreciate it. You have a wonderful rest of the week.
You too. Thank you very much. And to our viewers, thank you for watching this segment, and then we'll see you at the next show. Have a great remainder of the day.